What is going on, Dominator? Dave the Dominator here, and holy Lord. So, who in the hell are we going to talk about now? I was debating on what videos to make because I was just like, oh, I kind of want to talk about the draft, and then I'm like, I don't know if I want to talk about the draft, and then I was like, oh, well, there's one more game of hockey, and I might wait to see how that does. I don't think there has been a crazier start to the playoffs in the last few years. Last year there was a few craziness, but not really a lot. This was the first year, besides the Oilers, the top favorites are gone. Now, before I get into the talking about the final 8 teams left and what I feel like they can bring to the table, let's talk about the people that have already eliminated. Let's just start off with the top. The Boston Bruins. Trash. Literally trash. Now listen, if you're a Boston fan, calm your tits. I'm sorry, but this is just true. You have not done this more than once, and now I have a fucking hilarious feeling that you guys probably regret giving up Bruce Cassidy. Yes, you guys had a great season. That's not true. That's not true, actually. You had a great regular season. Once you got to games that mattered, you absolutely fell apart. You your goalie pulled a flurry. Now, what I mean about that is I had it on a stick that Vegas would have won that series against Montreal, but that flurry basically giving up the goal, the same way Allmark did, you got screwed, and then you got a team back in the postseason. I mean, that was a whole different story for the Knights. I mean, that was a game. That was a game 3, and they could have gone 2-1. They won game 3. Who knows if that would have been the same case? But they could have gone back to Vegas, finished the series, gone against Tampa. No, now they're going. They had to tie the series after giving up the goal and then losing in overtime. So listen, playoffs are insane. And I've watched hockey long enough to understand that this was not great. That Boston, wins game 1, I think loses game 2, wins game 3 and 4, right? If I'm not mistaken. I really don't remember. I'll try to get that out right now while I'm trying to go because this video will be long. Just a warning. Yeah, so Boston wins game 1, Bruins won or Panthers won 2, Bruins won 3 and 4, and the Panthers won the last 3. I mean, Boston screwed themselves here. After that game, the Panthers game in game 6, where they just could tell they have a lot of momentum, I was like, they might lose game 7. I will not be shocked. I did feel like the leaders on Boston would have changed it, but I think everyone's blaming Swayman, which, okay, yeah, blame your other good goalie. Why don't you? Because the person you should be blaming is your Vezina Trophy winner, who he should be and probably will be. He gave up a goal. He didn't have the best season, and I have said this about many teams, and I'm going to talk about this later because I'm not even going to get even near that. But the Boston Bruins don't have the best defense. They're old. Like that. All their guys are old. Everyone blamed Bruce Cassidy for that. Well, then why didn't this coach bring in youth? Explain that to me. I remember everyone was like, "Well, Bruce Cassidy didn't like younger guys. He liked veterans." And obviously everyone was like, "Well, that's why he's going to be great in Vegas," which is funny because he's had to bring up Cotter, Dodonov, or not Dodonov. I keep saying Dodonov. Paul Cotter, Dorofeev, uh, Logan was your goalie, and he's a young guy. He had to keep bringing in guys from Henderson to help our team because once again we were injury prone. Except this year we changed it from last year and we actually built off of it. I think that your team has, yes, they had an amazing season, but now it doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. Everyone was like, Boston's gonna win this championship. It's out of the gate. They got eliminated, and now every person has pretty much the same level of playing field. The top two odds to win the Stanley Cup right now are, I think it's a tie between Oilers and Toronto. And I think Vegas is in third. Stars or Hurricanes are fourth, and then I think it's Stars. I don't remember. But let's get back into this. The Stanley Cup champions are eliminated by Seattle. Seattle does it. They win their first playoff series. Good for them. Um, they're gonna have a tough game here against Dallas, who is honestly, in my opinion, one of the only super teams left. Like they have three guys that they brought in who are guys that are gonna help this team with scoring depth. They have the depth. Uh, we'll talk about the series here in a minute because I'm gonna just try to get through this really fast. But I think I wasn't expecting them to be out first round. I thought they were going to be able to get their stuff together and end up winning that game. That it was just a bad game for them. Once they lost game one, I was like, wow, okay. Then Avalanche won two in a row, and I was like, okay, well, they're going to put the nail in the coffin. Then Kraken won two in a row. Avalanche then ties the series 3-3, and then I literally was like, I think Colorado loses this game, and they ended up losing it. Obviously, in a little bit of a turmoil, but it is what it is. And then to mark it off, there's two other eliminations that happened that make this even crazier. The Rangers are eliminated after going to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and quite possibly could have, after what happened with Tampa, Bruins, and Colorado, that was your favorite to probably win the cup, especially because they have a super team. Well, that super team was destroyed in round one. So, honestly, I'm not shocked. I think we all figured since they were slow at the end of the deadline, everyone kind of like the hype for them kind of lowered because everyone realized like, oh, this is actually not working out as well as everyone thought it was going to be. And I mean, what a crazy turn of events. And like I said, Toronto moving on the first round. That I was 1 year old when the last time that happened. It's been 19 years, and that math just confuses me so much because I'm like, 19 years, and then I see 2004, and I'm like, well, but anyways, that's a personal thing. Anyways, but I just can't believe that the four best teams that probably everyone had winning the cup this year, the reigning champs Colorado, the Bruins, the best team in the regular season, the team that went to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 years in a row, and the Eastern Conference went to the Eastern Conference Finals, Rangers. The Oilers are the only team that went to in the last year are in the playoffs right now that have been to the Western Finals. Now, if Vegas somehow beats them, I think that now that is just a clean, everything is a clean level surface, and we could be seeing somebody win a championship for the first time in a very, very long time. I mean, I think that's still going to be the case. I think if I could think about the youngest when I saw the stat, maybe like a 2004 something championship, when somebody won the cup out of all these teams. We have three teams in this playoff series that haven't won the cup. That's obviously the two expansion teams, in Florida. All I could say is every series kind of went the way I thought it was gonna go. The Golden Knights series pretty much went the way I thought. Thought it was gonna go to 5, maybe 6. Tampa, I thought Tampa was gonna pull up a little bit of a fight, but after Toronto kept getting like good overtimes and comebacks, that one I could tell you when I saw them winning, I knew they were gonna win when they came back like 3-0, and they pushed overtime and won. Um, I'm glad the Devils won. Hurricanes got business done in 6. Stars beat Panthers. Panthers are going to have a lot of question marks heading into the offseason. Obviously, it sounds like they're still going to have the same goalie tandem. It sounds like Fleury is going to be the back end of the stick, and he's going to play his final year as a backup, possibly his final year as a backup. And it sounds like, there's a lot of craziness. Flames fired their head coach. I mean, I think Minnesota should fire their head coach. I mean, you need change, and I think that you're not going to get it. Like, you need to go back to the drawing board when you had so much upside to the season, and they had a really good season rolling into the playoffs. Like, what? Remember all the hype where they only lost like 5 games out of the last like 20 something? It's like, yeah, you need a team like that who was hot to go on to the way more than the first round. So, I mean, teams always get overhyped. Teams that don't get enough hype are always the ones that kind of show up. That's why, AKA, let's not forget what happened when everyone doubted this team, the Vegas Golden Knights. What happened that? That's why I always take everything with a grain of salt, and I won't really try to pay attention to everyone's favorites, because that brings me into this now postseason where we're on to round two. Today's games we have Toronto and the Panthers. Now listen, both coming off of hard series. I think Toronto will get the early jump. I think because of how hard that the Panthers went. But here's the thing: the Panthers are a team that you don't want to doubt. Now I bet I saw the Toronto fans. We want Florida. We want Florida. Well, guess what? You have Florida now. You don't have Boston. But if they lose this series, that's going to be humiliating, and not at the same time, because if they did beat the President Trophy winners, you would think they would, But I think Florida will start off slow in this first game. I feel like most teams that come off of a game seven and then their next game is literally like a day after, which I think needs to change. Like, I like that factor, but at the same time, I think about like a team like the Stars and Kraken. Like, the Stars have only waited a little bit, and I feel like a team like the Knights, who literally were the first team done or have been sitting for a long time. Same with the Hurricane. Like, the Hurricane was the day after the Knights, and now they have just been sitting, chilling, somewhat practicing, waiting to see who their next opponent is. Like, the Knights only knew who their opponent was like 2-3 days ago, and they don't really practice until the day after when that game's done. So they've only really known their opponents for 2 days. But I think that this series is going to be fun. I think truly that Toronto will win this series. Now, I'm 50-50 on it. I feel like they will lose, but I think just when you think about their team, they have the depth. They're one of the only teams right now that have depth. I could think of a whole bunch of teams that don't have depth right now. They're a team that has depth. They're a team that has defense. They're a team that has goaltending. Their defense is a little sloppy, but their goaltending, I think, let alone, can withstand what happens. And as long as you don't make dumb turnovers and mistakes, you could easily beat this team. I think they could sweep them. I don't think that'll be the case. This might go 5-6. But yeah, I mean, think about that. Like, Florida won because of so many turnovers. Like, that's just the fact. Look at every game and think about how many goals. I just posted a video about all the goals in round one. Go to that video, and I can guarantee you every game there was at least one turnover that ended in Florida getting a goal. The Stars and the Kraken will be a fun series. I think that the Kraken have speed. The Stars do not have a lot of speed. They do, but they don't at the same time. I think Jake Ottinger is by far the best goalie in the playoffs as of right now. Um, I mean, this is going to be a fun series. I do think Stars just have more veterans on their team. I feel like they have more depth, and I feel like Jake Ottinger is on fire. Now, that's not saying that if Seattle could easily win this series as long as they could beat Jake Ottinger. If you could beat Jake Ottinger and play defense on the other side very well, you're winning this series. And I feel like whoever wins this series is in a deep situation, because whoever wins this series is going to play either Vegas or the Oilers, who both teams are really crazy. And I think whoever wins that series is, my personal opinion, the Western favorite. Now, I don't know, because Vegas has had trouble with Jake Ottinger, so if Jake Ottinger and the Stars move on, maybe the Stars will win that series. But we're not going to look into the future matchups, because I truly don't even know what's going to happen. So I'll say Stars win this series, but I don't think they win it easily. I do think Kraken can pull up a hell of a fight, and I think that they're not gonna wear it down. I'll say 6 to 7 games that this one might go. I don't think the Kraken will give up too easy. Uh, Now the Devils and Hurricanes. This is going to be an interesting one because they're two teams that I feel like don't have crazy depth, and I mean especially the Hurricane. They've had a lot of injuries and stuff. Um, Defensive wise, Hurricane are better. Uh, Goalie wise is interesting because I feel like there's two goalies that have had struggles in the postseason. Hurricanes look like they're on the better side of that this year. So I mean, like it's going to be such an interesting series. I mean, especially with the Devils' speed that they play with, and with their superstars. The Hurricane has still have some big superstars left. Um, this is probably going to go to 7 to 6. I think that this series is just going to be so tough, and I really do think that like the home teams are going to have the best advantage, and especially now that both New York teams are done, I feel like New York is now going to have the New Jersey, sorry, is going to have all of that area's support now because they're the final team left, and hopefully that helps their playoff atmosphere. I mean, it sucked because during that whole series with New York, it literally was, you know, 40% Rangers fans in the home game, so it was really tough to watch, like to see that. Just kind of have your home fans like there, but there's also a lot of other fans there. So I think Hurricanes will win this series. Like I said, 6 to 5. Now this series is probably going to be the best one out of the entire one. If a lot of people think that Edmonton's going to sweep, and now I'm going to say my piece real fast because this is why I hate biased journalism and biased fans. I'm a Golden Knights fan, and I have been 100% biased. I try to be. And that's why I don't really know what's going to happen this series. Because, yeah, you could look at the regular season, but here's the thing. Two things you should learn about the regular season. Number one, it really doesn't matter. If you think it does, then call Boston. See what they truly think about that. Because based off of your logic, Boston should be champions, basically, right now. I think that Vegas got better playing the Oilers and were really good. They just made early mistakes. In game 1 and game 2 when they played, they turned over the puck a lot. They created bad just bad mojo. It was just really bad. And I think that think about who was in net and think about who was in net for the one Golden Knights win in the regular season series. That was Lauren Brossoit. And that blowout, Jonathan Quick was in that, which all Vegas fans said that Brossoit needed to be in because those were two very important points, especially because that was going to go based off of the end of the season, and we needed those 2 points. Everyone wanted Brossoit in net. We didn't put Brossoit in until later. He only allowed 1 goal out of the 7. Brossoit, here's the thing that people forget. Our team was hurt the last few times we played the Oilers, and when we played them early, we weren't a really good team. Think about when our team was really good. At the very start of the season, the first 15-game stretch, which I don't believe we played them at all, and then the last few games now that we've gotten healthier. In my opinion, the Vegas Golden Knights have way more depth than them and way better defense than them. Think about how many games and how many scoring chances that they had compared to the Golden Knights. Now, I think that the Golden Knights could easily shut down Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. Very simple and easy, and I'm going to explain to you how. What makes them deadly? Face-offs. Now, yes, I think that a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, then put Jack Eichel with Connor McDavid." No. As a coach, and when you watch these games, if Connor McDavid and Draisaitl are their leading face-offs, right? Then why don't you? Because that's their only talent. That's the only guys that they have. The only way. This is how you can shut this team down. Put the Stevenson Stone and Howden line, which is our best line, against Connor McDavid or Draisaitl, whichever one, and have Carrier, Carlson, and Smith play against the other one that the other one doesn't take. That leaves our fourth line, which is better, and our first line, and we have more depth than them. So now Jack Eichel doesn't play against Connor McDavid or Draisaitl, and now he's going to have more opportunities to score with his speed. And Stevenson can keep up with McDavid because he is a fast skater that everyone doesn't seem to realize. And I think that goaltending wise, it is even. Everyone has been saying Skinner. No. Absolutely not. This is an even goaltending series. Sorry, but Skinner did not have the best postseason. You benched him. We didn't bench our goalie. You had to bench him for one game. Don't come at me and tell me that your guy has proven that he could win some playoff games. Guess what? Our backup just beat his former starter. And that backup has been playing pretty fucking well the last month. So this series is so evenly matched that people aren't going to say that. The only people they're going to talk about on Vegas is Jack Eichel. That's it. And maybe Stone. And so they're going to talk about Connor McDavid because ESPN and everyone else grabs onto his you know what and just all day. Just I don't think anybody has seen that South Park meme. I've never watched South Park. I just know the meme where, there's a lot of, we'll say, just because keep my thing a little PG-13 here, a lot of milk around a computer set with a man wearing very limited amount of clothing. That every single time Connor McDavid touches the puck, that is them. Every time Connor McDavid is mentioned, every time he's on the ice, they just lose their mind. Let's not forget that this is the same team that got swept last year. And I truly think that this team is good. I think both teams are good. I think I said it earlier in the video. Whoever wins this series more likely wins the West and more likely wins the Cup. That's just that. Both teams, when you compare them on an even level, who has the better superstars? You could say the Oilers do. Who has better goaltending? None of them. It's even. And if anything, you actually kind of can put Brossoit a little bit up, but only a little bit, because Brossoit is an older guy. He's a veteran guy, which means he's poised more. Like, I feel like certain goalies are going to have certain situations. Vegas beat Skinner on multiple occasions. We're not scared of him. We're not. We're not scared of your defense. Defense, the Knights take that by a long shot. They have Stanley Cup winning D-man. They have guys that take you to your limit. Offensively, if you're just thinking offensively, they have the power, but the depth is Vegas. I can name you guys on each line of the Golden Knights roster that is a deadly weapon that can get them started. And it doesn't even match, because if I had to name one, each of our lines have somebody that they are close with that help make them even more scary. So this series will be one of the best. I think out of all of them, I think that's the best series. That's the series that I will not be shocked goes to 6 or to 7. A lot of people say this is going to be an Edmonton sweep. Yeah, let's see. Because, if they win game 1, you don't think Bruce Cassidy's going to change shit up? No, he's going to change shit up. And if anything, he's going to make sure that shit don't happen again. If you have another blowout game, it's not going to stay that way. So, I'm not really going to pick favorites here. I mean, like I said, I said that I don't like picking for my team. Okay, I really don't. I said Hurricane, I said Leafs, and I said Stars. I don't want to pick one here because if I pick, well, because people are already going to be giving me shit about this anyways, but if I pick the Golden Knights, they're going to be like, oh, you're favoriting your team. And then they'll use it as fuel when if win or if we lose. Uh, and if I pick the Oilers, I'm not a good fan, and that I'm just a fake fan. Blah 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 blah. So I'm leaving that one up in the air. Both of these teams are gonna have a lot to show. I mean, the only thing that just Vegas has one more win than the Oilers. That's it. They have one more win than the Oilers. They have everything is pretty much the same. They're literally Oilers are 50, 29 and 9 or 23 and 9. Vegas is 51, 22 and 9. So literally they have one less loss, one more win than them. This series is going to be tough. Everyone will vote Oilers. People are always going to say the Oilers, and we're going to see. By the way, the way that everyone wins these series, if the Panthers, this is my version of saying who could win. The Panthers need to win the first two out of the first 3 games. I think they're going to be in a good position. I think if the Leafs get a 2-win lead, they'll be very comfortable. Not saying like this is a great thing, but I'm just saying that this is their probability of winning going up. I think the Kraken, if they could start off 2-0, that's great. I don't think that's going to happen. If they can go back to Dallas with it being 2-2, I think this series is going to be interesting. If the Stars get in a 2-0 spot, or it's even a 2-1 spot, and that one came in game 1, the Stars are going to generate too much momentum, and I think it's going to get out of hand. I think the Hurricanes, if you win 3 games, then I think if you win the first 2, you're in a good spot. I think you wait until that game 5 or that game 4, because if you're say 2-1, and they like that's what happened last time, and they evened it out 2-2. If you can get 3-1, you're more likely ending this series. Vegas and Oilers, I think Oilers need to beat Vegas. These are 2 good away teams too, so obviously that goes in Edmonton's favor because Vegas has the home field advantage, or home ice advantage. But I mean, I think Oilers, if in the first 4 games, if they could win 3, obviously, I think if they could win both in Vegas, they're golden. I think they're absolutely golden. I think that the Golden Knights, if they win the first 2 at home, they're golden. Because I will not be shocked if both of these teams win the first 2 games, go to Edmonton, and whoever won the first 2 is going to win a third, whether that's game 3 or game 4, and then come back to Vegas and could possibly wind out the series. So Vegas, so basically both of them need to get a 2-0 start to feel comfortable about winning this series. And even I think the Knights more than anyone, because I think if the Oilers get 2-0, it's not as like, oh, we got them. I feel like it's not as concerning. But the Knights, if they start off 2-0, that is deadly for the Oilers. And then they're going to be playing interesting hockey in game 3 that the Knights could take advantage of. And think about it. If you could just walk out of Edmonton with another win, whether that's in game 3 or 4, and come back to Vegas, you're in a good spot. Same thing pretty much with the Oilers. So this series is pretty much going to be, like I said, evenly matched. Pretty much both outcomes work for both teams. So that's just going to be it for me. I know people are going to call me all this other stuff, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think I do. And that's going to be it for me. What a ride this playoffs has happened. Just thinking about all the possible cup winners. And now I do want to show you guys this. I showed my live stream this, I think, the other day, or yesterday, at twitch.tv/ProDavid777, but, right down here. But, I took a screenshot of this when it was like, who will play in the Stanley Cup Finals, and I screenshotted this, and this is no joke. Oh, come on. It is Vegas and Toronto. And I was gonna delete the picture of one of them got eliminated, and both of them are still here. So can't eliminate them just yet. So ay 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 ay. That is gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think. Who are you guys rooting for? Who are you guys rooting against? Who do you guys want to see succeed? Who do you guys want to see fail? And who do you guys want to see? Who do you guys truly want to see in the Stanley Cup final? Or who do you want to just see finally win it all because they might get off everyone's back? In my opinion, I'm just saying, if you got, because if Seattle wins it, are people really not gonna act like Vegas did the same thing in a similar way, but everyone hates Vegas? I don't think so. I think if Vegas, truly, in my opinion, I'm not just saying this because I'm a fan, but I think if Vegas wins it, I don't think we would try as hard and people would start liking us because we would just keep the guys we have on our roster and we wouldn't be doing crazy changes every year. I don't think we would keep trying to, oh, we won one cup, let's get five more. I don't think we're going to be that crazy, but who knows? Who knows? Um, I mean, everyone wants more championships, so I guess that makes no sense. But that's gonna be it for me. Let me know what you guys think. Sorry that this is a long video, and I'm gonna try, if I remember, to put little clips in here that you could just go right to those series. Obviously, that's a little hard knowing that you guys just saw this at the end of the video, but you guys aren't stupid. You guys use YouTube all the time, so you guys should know. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like, follow me on everything. Have a beautiful day, beautiful people. Dominate the world because David the Dominator is out. Peace.